Hi, I'm Chris Pearson, one of the co-founders of Three Beacon Marketing, and today I'm here with one of the senior partners at Furever Bookkeeping, Bruce, and we're going to share kind of our relationship over the years and kind of how things have grown and gone over the years. So, Bruce, thanks for coming on.
Great, Chris. Great for having me. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go ahead and dive in. We'll go ahead and start with kind of the initial question here of just kind of what marketing and business and the growth looked like before we started partnering up.
Yeah, so like any business, Forever Bookkeeping, before yours and our relationship started, gosh, it's been about 10 years now. Um, my partner and I, we bootstrapped it. So we relied heavily on referrals, old school kind of networking, going to trade shows, really digging in and really going after relationships, which was kind of an exhausting way to handle business.
Yeah.
Because really there was really no roadmap for us. We had to keep everybody happy all the time, so it was
Mhm.
kind of exhausting.
Yeah, tell me more about the roadshow and just kind of like that manual relationship stuff. What were kind of some challenges and frustrations with that? It sounds like you were always on, if you will, but what are some other things you guys were struggling with trying to grow the business that way?
No, you're absolutely right. We were constantly available 24/7, um, taking phone calls into the 9, 10 o'clock hour here, weekends, really being just stuck to our business without really having any free time. And that's really what you have to do when you have a relationship model. So
Yep.
um, I was always looking for something better and really couldn't find that. So while the business was doing well and we were growing, um, it was really kind of an exhausting time for myself and my partner.
Yeah, that sounds tough to bootstrap it that way. I guess with that being said, you're kind of looking around for maybe another way to get attention, get leads in, and things like that. Um, and then you found us. So, what was kind of maybe one or two or maybe three things if you have them specifically that you looked for or saw in us that decided, hey, I want to give these guys a shot and partner up and see how they can help us with marketing?
Yeah, so Chris, when I looked at you guys, what really stood out with Three Beacon was the fact that it wasn't just a one size fit all
Mhm.
kind of uh, business model that I saw with you guys. In other words, um, we have different income streams with our different with the revenue that's coming in and the direction that we want to take Forever Bookkeeping even those years ago. And
Mhm.
what really attracted me to you guys was um, you were uh, a boutique enough to really make me feel like phone calls get returned. I know it sounds cliche, or voicemails will get returned, but also that you guys were really on the cutting edge, and really I could take the pressure off myself. I
Mhm.
felt that if I could get more, um, kind of like a black box, going as it relates to lead flow, it would take some of the pressure off. So that's what really drew me to you guys first was um, the professionalism. You guys say exactly what you're going to do, and then you do it. So the execution is there too, and that's really lacking in your. I think in this industry, agencies overpromise and underdeliver, but Three
Mhm.
Beacon Marketing has really helped us.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
with that, saying what we're going to do and doing what we're going to say, that pressure is getting relieved a little bit on your side because we're helping with lead flow. Um, Initially when you came on with us, how did that start changing from, you know, on 24/7 to now lead flows kind of being taking that pressure off of shows and traveling and face to face time? How'd that kind of start changing things?
Yeah, so it was gradual. I mean, really, um, I still have to be involved. It's more of a partnership with you guys. It's not,
Yeah.
I think a lot of business owners like myself or others are kind of Pollyannic as it relates to. They think if they hire an agency, then um, they just turn the keys over to someone like you and the team, and then everything's taken care of. I mean, you're still involved, but really, you kind of create an outline and a roadmap forward that allowed me to get my weekends back. To not really, the traveling went to zero, and the lead flow came in, and really, you guys worked with us to really bring in that ideal client rather than just saying yes to everybody, which is you can't grow the business that way. So we're able to kind of pick and choose the ideal client, and that's all as it relates to strategy, execution, and ideas that you and your partner come up with, and on our weekly meetings. So it's kind of a hand in glove kind of relationship.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. I think that might be a good thing to maybe touch on some more is it some owners do get kind of Pollyannic. They're like, "Hey, here's the keys. You guys take care of it. I don't have to talk to you anymore." But the
Right.
way that we operate together over the years, it's like, "Hey, Bruce, you're doing some of the calls. You're doing the relationships on your side, on the business side, and we're like, please give us feedback. What are people saying? What's their feedback with the copy and the ads and things like that?" So I guess maybe if you have some examples, maybe walk me through kind of a couple things. On the ad side, you and Aaron are talking weekly, if not multiple times a week. You and I talk monthly, but our engagement is who's our ideal customer. It took a couple years, refine that, and then what's that kind of back and forth look like? Because it isn't you're often doing whatever you're doing and we're not talking. We talk very frequently.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, I want to leave, or at least instill with your audience that we talk weekly. I mean, Aaron and I, your partner, talk weekly, and like you said, you and I monthly, and then other team members we speak monthly, if not quarterly. So there's a whole team that goes into the success of how we've gotten to where we've gotten. But it relates to the leads themselves. So how we got to kind of I mean, it's always evolving, as you know. So really, the
Hmm.
ideal client, or really our ideal client, it probably is across the board to any business owner who's looking to expand. Our clients who are willing and able to be helped. I mean, obviously, we're in the financial industry, so prior to partnering with you guys, I don't want to say we took everybody who could fog a mirror, but maybe back in the day we would be less particular, and it took up a lot of bandwidth because some of those potential prospects that didn't turn into clients, because we've got great clients and we love our clients, they're best served with some of the smaller shops, maybe the franchisees that are in the financial industry, rather than someone like ourselves who really do everything from A to Z. So it's been an evolution. So to answer your question, the best way to answer it is you guys are all ears, right? So
Hmm.
I never really hear no. I mean, I hear pushback when you really think that, hey, it's not going in the direction that I think is feasible, or you have the ability to push back. But other than that, the partnership is really valuable to me, because you guys are always saying, well, maybe not yes, but let's go in this direction, and that's really
Yeah.
hard to find. I mean, it's impossible. I haven't found that with any other company that I've worked with prior to you guys.
Yeah, yeah. I like to think of it like a meeting of the minds, right? You got your expertise on your business side of things. We've got ours on the marketing, and we come to the
Right.
table and say, "Hey, what happened the last 6 months? What's the next six? How do we make this thing work?" And I appreciate that because there is a genuine relationship of there is pushback here and there from both sides in both directions, and we respect each other enough and care enough that we're like, "Hey, this might not be a good idea," or "I really want to double down on this because of these reasons." So yeah, that's great to hear. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's healthy. I mean, Chris, honestly, if you guys were just not to push back, that's not helpful. So we've had some spirited conversations in the past, as you know, and but it's worked out,
Yeah.
and that's really and that's another thing I just want to kind of touch on, is that I really don't think of you guys as a separate entity, even though obviously, Three Beacon is not part of Forever Bookkeeping. But I really think of you guys as strategic partners. I'm really getting us from A to Z, and everything in between. So it's been very helpful. It's been a meaningful relationship for myself and my partner.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great to hear. Thank you.
Hmm.
So with that being said, over the years things have evolved, we've adjusted, we've, refined the direction who we're speaking to for your ideal customers and who we're bringing in as leads. Um, what are a couple like major milestones we've been able to achieve together, either in the last couple years or just overall, if there's like a couple that maybe come to mind?
Yeah, it's always great. From a, I love when my business partner, and she really, so I do all the sales and marketing, and then my business partner, she handles the clients with the team that we've got, right? A very
Mhm.
talented team, which is great. But I love when she says the golden words of the golden sentence of, I think we have to hire someone. And that
Hmm.
means that we've got more clients than we have that we can handle right now. And obviously, we've got to do some hiring. So some of the milestones are Three Beacons really helped us strategically hire not just for one income stream that we've got or one revenue stream. We've branched out into other revenue areas that we didn't even feel were possible. And so, what you guys have been directly responsible for is growing the business from where I was. I mean, you doubled the business for us, so it's been great.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear. Yeah, that I think that was one of those moments for, adding additional services or just say, hey, here's another revenue stream potentially here. We talked about that for a while. It wasn't like
Yeah,
one convo in a week. It was like months, couple conversations, and really considering is there volume, is there flow there, um, which is great because now we've got that tap open and we can use it. So yeah, that's great to hear. Um, Outside of the milestone pieces, as one of this as a senior partner there, what's kind of changed from before us and now that we're working together for the number of years around the confidence, the decision making, or just peace of mind? Um, Having a partner on the marketing side like us, how's that kind of shifted for you personally?
sure. So, as a business owner or partner, right, having clarity is incredibly valuable to me. Instead of constantly wondering what marketing tactic I should try next, because I'm old school, right? I'm old school as it relates to the way I used to bring in business was going out and doing presentations in front of many people, and like I said, the relationships were super important to me. And by the way, not to say that our relationships are not important, but from a transactional standpoint, you can't grow unless you kind of change your way of thinking. So that confidence has allowed me to make better decisions and focus on actually growing the business rather than worrying about where the next prospect is coming from. So that's kind of the biggest takeaway that I could nugget that maybe I could tell your audience that if you really want to grow, you really have to kind of change the mindset and get out of your head and really, I read some of the boards in my industry. I read a lot of the boards in our industry, and a lot of them will constantly say, where should I get the business? Well, you have to really invest, um, take a risk, and invest a significant amount of money in an agency such as you guys. I mean, it's like anything. You take a risk and you hope you get with the right people. And we were lucky enough to partner with you guys.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, that's fantastic. When it comes to working together, this is one of my favorite questions because I always like to see what comes up. Um, but of the relationship and of the years we've worked together, what's something that's maybe surprised you, or something that you didn't expect to happen, or that relationship or convo or something like what's something that surprised you over the years?
Yeah. So really, I mean, Chris, honestly, what surprised me most was the level of proactive thinking with you, Aaron, and the team. I mean, even just yesterday, as we met, we're constantly having to pivot, and you guys are always pivoting before I'm jumping on the call. It's really not to use like a Star Trek cliche, but it's like a mind meld kind of thing. You really were in lockstep together. I don't know if any of your audience are Star Trek members or Star Trek fans, but in any event, what surprised me the most is the level of proactive thinking, and I expected execution. But what I've appreciated is really the strategic input that you guys give. You constantly bring new ideas, opportunities, and helps us think, big picture.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of big picture, with kind of where we're at now, we're 6 months, 5.5, 6 months into 2026. What does the next 6 to 12, maybe 18 months look like for Forever Bookkeeping, and how do you see us helping you guys get there?
Yeah. So, right now we're focused in on, continuing to grow with the right clients. I mentioned the ideal clients, so that's always super important. So, your business partner, Aaron, has helped me get away from the mindset of quantity versus quality.
Hmm.
And so I was always thinking, hey, you got to have tons of leads coming in every single day. And that was the model in the past, but now it's more of a qualitative kind of thing, which has been helpful. So really zeroing in on that. continue to zero in on the ideal client. Because again, you and I and Aaron and the team are always fine tuning that, and then building at scale. I'm always preaching that to my business partner, that we have to automate things in order to, because once we automate, we'll be able to even expand even more. So
Mhm.
expansion is important. Hiring the right people is important for us. And then our partnership with Three Beacon plays that key role in helping us maintain the momentum to continue to expand our reach. As a matter of fact, as you know, we've pivoted again from just being a regional kind of player
Mhm.
to nationwide, and that was all as a result of the hard work that the team and we've put in. So, and it's a direct result of Three Beacons. So, that's kind of the look ahead. And I don't really, and because of the partnership that we have, I'm not concerned from an economic standpoint what the economy is really doing. What's great is that's kind of you've set up a mousetrap that's been kind of economic proof, if you will,
Mhm.
which makes me sleep better at night. I'm
Yeah.
not staring at the ceiling fan
Yeah, staring at the ceiling fan. Yep.
anymore. Yeah, yeah,
Anymore.
yeah. Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's great. Aaron and I talk about that too. Outside of context of you and the business and your business and stuff. That is a staple in describing things with other people and other clients. So that's fine. I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, uh, if you're to give a piece of advice to another business owner, based on a relationship we've had over the years, um, what would you tell them to get the most value out of a marketing partnership? Maybe not necessarily just us, but in general, what's something that's kind of turned over in your mind over the last 7, 8, 9 years?
Yeah, really, Chris, the best piece of advice I could give other business owners who listen, everybody wants an agency like you guys to partner with, right?
Hmm.
Um, but and you probably hear it on your end, with people that are potential clients that want to partner with you guys. But you have to have the budget set aside. I mean, you can't
Hmm.
just expect the money tree to grow out back and needs to just come falling the door. The funds to ring off the hook unless you have a budget for an agency like yourself. And the second thing is, and maybe equally as important, is to treat the partnership like a partnership and not a transaction.
Hmm.
Um, the best partnership is when you're able to communicate openly, share
Hmm.
ideas, push back like we talked about in the past. But also, I think the third and equally as important as the other two, if not the most important, is to be able to invest your time, in making sure uh, that you that you actually invest in the partnership. And let me explain. Um, I told you before, a lot of companies or a lot of business owners kind of expect agencies to produce, hand over the keys, like I told you, and then just all of a sudden magically have the phone ring. Um, what's great in my situation is that I've got a business partner who stays in their lane. I don't get in their lane. And she doesn't get in my lane. And so I'm able to focus, 150% of my time, or 100% of my time, 150% effort on uh, the marketing and sales side. So really, if you have a business owner who is a one-stop shop or one owner business owner, he or she has to realize that they do have to carve out time to work with you guys and not be like, well, these are some of my ideas. You guys take off and run with it. Ideally, they may have a business partner like myself who, spent many years in sales and who values and understands that sales and marketing is a separate uh, living and breathing animal, and you need to water the seeds
Yep.
to make the beanstalk grow, and you just can't expect to turn it over to you guys and then be frustrated at the end of a month or 2 months or 3 months and say, where are the results, because they haven't invested the time and effort. So those are
Yeah.
three of the biggest takeaways I would say, and really work with you guys and carve out time, and really put in the effort, because it's a two-way street.
Yep. Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. Um, I was going to ask the last question. What would you tell business owners if they were on the fence to make a decision? But I think you just laid that all out.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I get ahead of myself.
no, you're good.
Um,
You're good. No, that's great.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think the outline there is fantastic. The business owners typically are wearing more than one hat, and when you give that hat away to somebody, it's still your hat. You still have to make sure the hat's okay, make sure they're wearing it right, and just stay in that relationship, stay in that conversation. So awesome,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
well, I guess the last thing I'd ask, and if it's no, that's totally fine. Is there anything else you'd want to share about our experience that maybe we didn't cover today?
No, just to kind of hit home that last point, I can't stress that enough, Chris, that the business owner really needs to put in the effort and really to expect big things. You got to put in big effort, but
Mhm.
it'll pay off in the long run. You guys have been great. I mean, a 10-year relationship in business is kind of hard to beat, and we look for the next 10 years with you guys. We're really
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, we do too. Thanks, Bruce. I appreciate it. Cool, awesome.